Hey, it's Ashley and I'm back with another haircut tutorial for you. Today we're going to be doing a number 4 on the sides, scissor cut on top, and I'm blending in with my shear over comb, going around the ears and the hairline with my trimmers. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video and my page so I can continue to make haircut tutorials and haircut ASMR videos. Let's get started. Beginning this haircut, I'm going to start off by looking at my client's hair texture, scalp, and their bone structure on their face and their head structure on their parietal ridge and occipital bone. After doing this, I'm going to go in with my number 4 guard, and starting at the base of the ear, I am working my way up and then scooping out whenever I'm getting just below the parietal ridge. This is going to help me keep a really nice flow going towards the back of the hair when we have that push back look. And then I am just riding out on the back of the occipital bone where it starts to kind of curve out and flatten. This is going to leave me some weight on the back of the head where they have normally a lot of cowlicks in most haircuts. So this will give me a lot of wiggle room whenever I am blending with my shears and leaving some of that length towards the back so that we can keep it blended. And we are keeping this fade a little bit lower so that we can leave a lot of length on the top and on the sides to keep that pushback look. So I'm going to do the same thing on my other side, and then I am going to go in with my number 1 guard, and I'm going to taper the back of the neck down. You can see I kind of leaved it out with that number 4. And I am just going right in at the baseline so that we can make sure that this neckline looks really nice and clean. And if the client is waiting for 3 to 4 months to get a haircut, we definitely want to keep this haircut lasting him a good long time. So this taper is going to do exactly that. We're going to just taper it, and then I'm going to open up that number 1 to a 1.5. and just slowly riding right underneath the occipital bone. And this is going to keep a more elongated look on the back of the neck for the client. Then going in with my 1.5 guard closed, I'm doing the same thing, just kind of tapping it right above that 1.5 guard opened. And then whenever I get to the side, I like to open my clippers right there and then go all the way back around. So instead of really blending this all the way up into my 2 guard, my 3 guard, and then back into my 4 guard, instead I'm going to just go in with my trimmers and leave that for a little bit later. Now, using my trimmers, I just want to clean up this hairline, so I am pulling everything out to where it does not grow, and I am taking it and just lightly lining up that natural hairline that is already there. I do not like to cut into my clients' hairlines unless they are asking me to. This is because it just creates a really bad grow out time. It comes out a lot faster, and then you can see here I am tapering this sideburn with my trimmer over comb. So I am just using my comb and putting it at the lowest angle, and then taking that 45-degree angle and blending it up to that number 4. And then you can see I just kind of etched out that natural hairline to straighten it up, and it looks nice and clean. Going around the ear, I am pulling everything out with my comb at a slight 45-degree angle parallel to the head, and then I am trimming it up to give it a nice taper. And this will give a seamless look into my taper that I've already created down at the bottom with that number 1 guard. So going in and straightening out the client's head before creating a light line, and using that trimmer over comb with a 45-degree angle again to taper that 1 into a half at the neckline. And this is just going to save me some time with trying to fade out the bottom of the neck. And then I am again using that comb to go around my ears and my neckline and give a seamless look to the natural hairline of my client. Now, after creating my lines on my perimeter of my hair, I am going to give a nice clean lineup on the client's neckline, starting at one side and then working my way to the other. And then I always like to step back and double check my hairline, make sure everything is nice and straight. Now that I have everything nice and lined up, I'm going to wet my client's hair about 80%. I really don't like to soak the client's hair all the way, but I do like the hair pretty wet so that I can easily separate it and section it. So I want to keep my top long, but I want to blend in my sides. I am going to remove the part of my bangs and start blending my sides from my 4 into my top. As you can see, whenever I pull out this hair, there's not much length that I am taking out, and I am keeping my hands very square to the head shape so that we can have a lot more length at the parietal ridge than we do at the sides. This is going to allow for a really nice pushback look, especially for me blending from back to front. Whenever we push it back, it is going to lay and feather really clean and seamless. So once I have that section done, I am going to move to the back of the head, and we can see a lot more weight is left here, and we don't really want that. It's going to look a little too heavy. So I'm going to remove what I believe would be best for this client's head shape, and that is about 1/2 inch or so more. And you can see as I get back into where I've already blended that hair, I'm going to stop blending and then move on to the other side of the back of the head. Once again, doing the same thing, I am following the guide at the bottom, which is my number 4 guard. From my number 4 guard, I am pulling that hair out and square to the head shape, and then working from the back to the front so that we can have a nice feathered look. This is going to keep my guide getting a lightly longer whenever I'm working my way to the front to keep more weight towards the bangs. Now I'm going to start working that hair on the other side in, and I have both of my sides blended, so now I can go into scissor cutting the top and finishing up the touches. After blending everything on my sides, I'm going to start in the bang area, and I'm going to pull up the length and cut about 1 inch off, and then I'm going to use that as my guide for my mohawk. The reason I'm not pulling my bangs down and cutting them is because this client does not wear his hair that way. I will double check the bang length and make sure everything kind of sits really nice, but I'm not really worried about how it looks when it falls on his face since he is brushing his hair back. So going from that mohawk guide that I just created, I am going to pull everything up, and I should start to meet what I've already blended from that 4 into my shears. And so we can start to just meet our corners from our mohawk guide to the sides of our head. And this should give a really seamless blend. So I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I am pulling up, and you can see I want to pull exactly from the hair growth. And then I'm going to pull that back with me and continue cutting my corners. And sometimes one side's longer than the other, especially if the client is getting their hair cut by multiple people every haircut. Majority of my clients have been coming to me for 5 to 6 years, so I am usually the only one cutting their hair, and it all makes sense. So whenever I have a client who's new, I kind of like making sure everything makes sense because sometimes their last haircut could have been a little more confusing. So you can see here, like I said earlier, I was going to make sure the bangs were even, but this wasn't my main concern since the client does brush all of his hair back. So I'm just pulling everything straight down and point cutting anything that's slightly uneven or doesn't belong. And you can see that a little bit better right here. So I'm just going in and point cutting whatever doesn't match. And same thing on this little corner. And then brushing everything back, and we're going to make sure it's falling really nice and seamless for our client. And then we're going to wash, and now we are styling. Blow dryer, low volume. I really don't want this blow dryer to be going too high of a speed because then it will make the client's hair a lot more fluffy. Again, when you're blow drying hair and the client pushes their hair back, please make sure you are blow drying their hair backwards, because if not, it won't go back unless you've re-wet their hair. So always blow dry the client's hair in the direction that they style it. This is going to leave you a really nice finished look afterwards. Of course, the clients normally aren't blow drying their hair at home, so make sure to let them know that it is going to be a little bit fluffier than they would normally see it. I normally like to ask the client if everything looks okay when it is wet with no product and when it is dried with no product. I do not put clients' product in their hair until they told me they like their haircut and that they wanted product in the first place. Some clients don't put product in their hair. A client should not have to put product in their hair for a haircut to look good. So we are going to finish blow drying this haircut. As you can see, everything's blow drying really nice and seamless. I'm not seeing any crazy weight in any areas that I need to take care of. So I am asking him, does everything look okay? And then I definitely like to ask the client what kind of look they like for a product. If they use product, he said he likes a more natural dry finish. So I went in with a wax matte finish. And this is our final look. I really hope this helped educate you and you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Hope to see you back soon.